This is your news source evening bulletin for today, Thursday, the first day of April in the year 2021. I'm Gordon Mosley. Here's what we're tracking tonight. Attorney at law and member of the People's National Congress Reform, James Bond, former NISIL CEO Calvin Heath London, along with two others, Jermaine Richmond and Eddie Dulal, were slapped with several fraud charges today. The charges relate to several pieces of land along the east bank of Demerara. The men appeared before the Chief Magistrate Anne McLennan. Bond was represented by attorney-at-law Darren Wade, who made an application for the men to be released on self-bail. Wade submitted to the court that now President Irfan Ali and Attorney General Anil Nandlal were previously slapped with similar charges and were granted self-bail. He argued that the precedent should be upheld by the court. After listening to the arguments, magistrate granted Bond $150,000 bail and the others $100,000 bail each. Heath London, who was not present for today's court hearing, was represented by his attorney, Nigel Hughes. A few months ago, Bond and the other accused were hauled before the Special Organized Crime Unit and were questioned over several land deals. Bond is facing accusations of benefiting from the sale of prime state lands in Peters Hall after leasing the same land from NISIL. His attorney said the charges are laughable.
I looked at the charge, and I believe the charges are laughable. They're foolish. Because any law students will tell you that a company has its own legal personality from a shareholder. So the charge is garbage. I don't understand how they could form such a charge. Any law students will tell you that from the Canadian case of Solomon and Solomon, every company has its own personality. The only difference between a company and us is that we could breed, but the person has the same rights. A company has the same rights as us in relation to instituting and defending charges. So for them to add the state of Guyana as the sole shareholder in the charge, I believe that is all very unusual.
Attorney-at-law Darren Wade. Mr. Bond has always denied the allegations and believes that the investigation and charges against him are all politically motivated. The investigations into the land deals were triggered by Attorney General Anil Nandlal, who claims that the land deals were illegal. He said state lands were leased by NISIL at low prices and flipped over and sold to investors for millions of dollars. More news coming up in just a moment.
Guyana, we've been through it all.
But as a people we have
weathered every storm
and risen to every challenge.
Because it is the people of Guyana
that gives it its strength.
all the people,
regardless of race,
class, or religion.
we are one people, one strength.
And now is our time. A time to rise. Together, we rise.
At Sosh Financial, we create strategies for strengthening business and personal finances while helping our clients to build sustainable wealth. Our financial and business consultancy services are uniquely tailored to ensure every client receives quality packages and optimal results. Our financial services include financial reporting and analysis, financial status assessment, internal audits, bookkeeping and records management, financial planning advice, tax returns. Our business advisory services are related to business plans, business startups, operational improvement, business management, document preparation, procedures development, efficient marketing. Call or WhatsApp us today for your free consultation on telephone number 592-665-6045. Sosh Financial, strengthening businesses, building wealth.
Hi, Guyanese all. I am here urging you to take your filaria tablets. We have to get rid of the negatives in relation to filaria. And I just want to let you know that though there might be, not in all cases, might be some minimal effects, namely nausea and abdominal pain, in some of those who take, it would be important to understand that within 24 hours, these are going to go away. So please let the science be your guide and take the tablets.
It's trendy to share your vacation plans, photos, and location on social media. But do you know who is seeing your posts? Sharing that you're on vacation or a business can signal to potential burglars that your home is empty. Using location services can also allow people to track your whereabouts, making you an easy target for theft. Be aware of what information you share about your location and your possessions. Remember, what goes online stays online. Stop oversharing and get safe online.
Go spread the word in your area. We gonna end filaria.
For the past 2 decades, the global community prioritized eliminating lymphatic filariasis, commonly known as filaria, as a public health problem. Many countries in the Americas have achieved this goal.
We're looking to have 100% eradication of this disease in Guyana.
So we look forward to all of our citizens working with our teams from the Ministry of Health as they go around in our communities, meeting with you to administer this pills.
And I will encourage you all to take your pills so that we can once and for all rid Guyana of filariasis.
We have to get rid of the negatives in relation to filaria. So please let the science be your guide and take the tablets.
My family would be taking their pills. I do hope that you would also be taking your pills so that we can together work on eliminating filaria from Guyana.
Filaria gonna get knocked out. TKO.
A message from the Ministry of Health in collaboration with PAHO.
We are legions of men standing strong, but never too proud to stoop and help someone. We must send a clear signal to all. Do right. Walk in upright ways, knowing that's what being a man is all about. And ever aware that things will only get worse when good men do nothing. Stand strong. Be the one to live right.
Mom, what are you doing with GPL on your list?
Child, you forgot I have to pay GPL?
You got time with GPL?
I have to keep these lights on. The customers who think in that manner and refuse to honor their obligation to GPL are obviously not playing their part in ensuring quality service delivery. So, I will continue to pay my GPL bill on time, every time.
I recognize the value of your point, Mom. You were right.
Welcome back. The Ministry of Housing and Water on Thursday inked $2.3 billion worth of contracts with 6 contractors for the construction of a 4-lane highway from Eccles on the east bank of the Marara to Mandela Avenue in Georgetown, a continuation of works already started in the area. The works have been divided into 6 lots and are expected to begin in 2 weeks, with a completion date set for the 10th of December this year. The companies that will be responsible for the roadworks include Guy America Construction Inc., JS Guyana Incorporated, Orinoco Services, and Aaron Loud Civil Engineering Works, along with Colin Talbot Contracting Services. The scope of works includes land clearing and drain cleaning, construction of a 5.5 kilometer of earthen drains and 200 meters of reinforced concrete drains, construction of reinforced concrete box culverts, 2.8 kilometers of 4-lane rigid pavement carriageway with 2 parking lanes, installation of solar streetlights, and 12 reinforced heavy-duty composite bridges. According to the Housing Minister Colin Crowell, the project is expected to benefit more than 18,000 households in schemes under the Ministry and the Central Housing and Planning Authority.
We are speaking about 18,800 beneficiaries directly, or households that are within the remit of our housing scheme along that stretch of the East Bank. So I'm not giving you the general population use, I'm giving you directly how many households we are speaking about along the East Bank corridor that falls under our.
Meanwhile, the minister within the Ministry of Housing and Water, Susan Rodriguez, said she is pleased to see the rolling out of the project, which she said will not only enhance the country's transportation landscape, but also provide employment opportunities.
It will have a significant impact on the lives of Guyanese. It will not just change the physical infrastructure of our country, but it will transform lives. And since we have taken office, and even prior to that, our government has been relentless in ensuring that that agenda is pushed and that development comes to the lives of every single Guyanese, and that our country, the landscape, and the lives of Guyanese are transformed over the next 5 years. And you are our partners in ensuring that we achieve that objective. Government alone cannot take on such a task. We are policymakers.
Referencing a record-breaking $13.9 billion in contracts recently signed by the Housing Ministry, the Minister of Housing said that this is further evidence of his government's commitment to transforming the country. Minister of Tourism, Industry and Commerce Unesh Waldron has announced that a scrap metal trade will be reopened from next Thursday. The reopening of the trade will allow for the export of scrap metal once again. The minister told scrap metal dealers this afternoon that the trade is being opened with strict surveillance from a new department that has been established to overlook the operations, along with the Guyana Revenue Authority, the Customs Anti-Narcotics Unit, and the Guyana Police Force.
That to announce the reopening of the scrap metal trade will be reopened on Thursday next, and we wanted to let you know that the unit has been, we have assembled a unit internally at the ministry, and there's also going to be an external unit that deals with the inspections that will comprise members of the Guyana Police Force, CANU, Guyana Revenue Authority.
The Commerce Minister said an audit is being conducted on the scrap metal trade in the country, and that has paved the way for new rules and new regulations.
We took this long to get this unit, try to get it right, to make sure that we fill as many gaps that we saw existed in the previous operations of the trade. And we believe this is a work in progress, but we have something that we feel that can prevent some of the banes of the existence of this industry and this sector.
Under the new regulations, there will be more oversight of the operations of scrap metal dealers. Containers are to be monitored more and will have to be loaded in a specified and licensed shipyard. Additionally, containers will not be allowed to remain on the wharves for more than 7 days. While the trade is being reopened, only current scrap metal dealers will be allowed to trade. No new applications to join the trade will be entertained at this time. The opposition APNU-AFC coalition has once again expressed its interest to sit on the National COVID-19 Task Force. According to APNU-AFC Member of Parliament Dr. Karen Cummings, the public health situation in the country has been worsening. She said the government should consider having all hands on deck to address the issue in a bipartisan way.
And so all hands are on deck, and we should be part of the task force. I myself have spoken to the Prime Minister I'm still waiting for a reply from him, for us to be engaged in the task force. So they're very reluctant. We have so many things. We talk about vaccine hesitancy, public awareness. There's so many things to be done, and you need all hands on deck for that.
Dr. Cummings, who is a medical doctor by profession, said the government must be stern in its efforts to enforce the public health laws and to ensure that the population adheres to the measures. When the APNU-AFC was in government at the start of the pandemic, it had invited the then opposition PPP to be part of the National COVID-19 Task Force. The PPP refused, and since it got to office, the COVID-19 situation in the country has been worsening. Opposition leader Joe Harmon said the coalition is alarmed of how the COVID-19 situation in the country has turned out. He said the increase in both cases and deaths is due to several measures undertaken by the government, which could have been avoided. He made reference to the opening up of the country before the virus was under control, the relaxing of measures, and the poor enforcement of the regulations. Guyana has recorded more than 1,600 new coronavirus cases in the past month, with the death toll climbing to 235. A total of 38 deaths were recorded in the past 31 days. Today marked the third time within the past 2 weeks that a total of 4 coronavirus-related deaths were recorded in a single day. The Ministry of Health today reported the deaths of 2 women and 2 men from coronavirus. The eldest was 91 years old, while the youngest was 45 years old. The country's death toll has now jumped to 235, with 38 of those deaths recorded in the past 31 days. The Health Ministry also announced that in the past 24 hours, the country has seen 126 new cases of coronavirus. Based on the figures released from the Health Ministry, 62 of the new cases are from Region 4, while Region 3 accounts for 27 new cases and Region 6 has 17 new cases. The remaining new cases are spread across Regions 2, 5, 7, 8, and 10. The month of March saw the biggest increase in new cases. A total of 1,664 new cases were recorded last month. With the number of new cases of coronavirus climbing steadily, the National COVID-19 Task Force has announced that all non-religious Easter activities are prohibited during this long Easter weekend. In a statement, the COVID-19 Task Force named wet fests, parties, limes, and shows as among the activities that will not be allowed. Easter activities in public spaces, including the parks, resorts, and creeks, are also strictly prohibited. The COVID-19 Task Force is also encouraging persons to celebrate the Easter holidays within their home circle. While churches will be allowed to host their religious services and functions, they must all adhere to the 40% capacity rule. They are also being encouraged to keep their activities outdoor. Members of the joint services are expected to be out in full force across the country to ensure there are no hosting of non-religious events. Those who ignore the restrictions, including promoters of non-religious events as well as the patrons, could face charges. Additionally, the COVID-19 Task Force has placed a restriction on the consumption of liquor over the Easter holidays. Agents of the Customs Anti-Narcotics Unit arrested a 64-year-old man on Wednesday with almost 10 pounds of compressed marijuana in a suitcase in the minibus park area near Hatfield and Water Streets. The elderly man, Clarence Wrights of Baggotsville, West Bank, Demerara, was noticed walking along the street pulling the suitcase moments after crossing over with a speedboat from the West Demerara. He was stopped by Kano agents who searched the suitcase and uncovered a large marijuana stash. 2 Ziploc packets of marijuana were also found in his pockets, along with a quantity of cash. Wrights was immediately arrested by Kano. The elderly man appeared in court this afternoon and faced charges of drug trafficking. He pleaded not guilty and was remanded to jail.
University students, do you know who is seeing what you share online? Prospective employers, recruiters, and graduate schools often screen potential candidates before hiring or approving applications. Sharing inappropriate images or posts and using obscene language online can cost you dearly. Avoid paying the price. 1. Set your account to private. 2. Think twice before you share a post. 3. Get permission before posting details about others. Remember, what goes online stays online. Stop oversharing and get safe online.
Hi, I am the Hoodoo Mayor of Rosalton. I have just taken my filaria pills and I'm calling on everyone, especially the residents of Rosalton, to take theirs and the population of Guyana at large so that we can help to eliminate this disease. Please make a special effort and do so. Thank you very much.
Fuel it up and drive, Super 95. Fuel it up and drive, Super 95. Protect your fuel system, boy. High mileage and performance, boy.
Guy Oil Super 95 gasoline gives you more reasons to drive and is available at 56 service stations nationwide. For affordable price, high performance, and high mileage, choose Guy Oil's Super 95 gasoline.
Fuel it up and drive.
For the past 2 decades, the global community prioritized eliminating lymphatic filariasis, commonly known as filaria, as a public health problem. Many countries in the Americas have achieved this goal.
We're looking to have 100% eradication of this disease in Guyana.
So we look forward to all of our citizens working with our teams, but in the Ministry of Health, as they go around in our communities, meeting with you to administer this pills.
And I will encourage you all to take your pills so that we can once and for all rid Guyana of filariasis.
We have to get rid of the negatives in relation to filaria. So please let the science be your guide and take the tablets.
My family would be taking their pills. I do hope that you would also be taking your pills so that we can together work on eliminating filaria from Guyana.
Filaria gonna get knocked out, TKO.
A message from the Ministry of Health in collaboration with PAHO.
Across the region right now, in Jamaica, approximately 75,000 doses of the AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine from the African Medical Support Platform are expected in the island in the next 5 days. This will be followed by 20,000 doses of Moderna from commercial sources 2 to 3 weeks later, along with another 26,000 doses of the AstraZeneca vaccine. The announcement came from the chairman of the National Health Fund in Jamaica, Howard Mitchell, who provided an update on Jamaica's prospects of obtaining vaccines for the population in light of the global scarcity and the volatility of supply of COVID-19 vaccines. The supplies are part of vaccines which have been negotiated by the government of Jamaica since last year under the 2 international vaccine purchasing agreements from COVAX under the World Health Organization and the AMSP established by the African Union. In neighboring Brazil, 66,570 persons died in the country of COVID-19 in March, more than double the previous monthly record, figures show. The country's health service has been pushed to the brink as cases of the virus continue to climb. The president of Brazil, Jair Bolsonaro, has faced intense criticism for his handling of the crisis and was hit by high-profile resignations this week. But yesterday, he again rallied against the lockdown measures imposed by local governors and mayors. Wednesday also saw a further 3,800 new deaths and over 90,000 new coronavirus cases in Brazil. Brazil's daily deaths currently account for about a quarter of all coronavirus fatalities in the world. And finally tonight, international news. U.S. authorities have released a video showing 2 children being dropped over a 14-foot wall by alleged smugglers at the U.S.-Mexico border in New Mexico. The children, who are siblings from Ecuador, were taken to a hospital by Border Patrol agents, and they are now in the care of the U.S. authorities. El Paso Sector Chief Patrol Agent Gloria Chavez says she was appalled by the way the children smugglers viciously dropped innocent children from a 14-foot border barrier last night. U.S. authorities are now working with law enforcement in Mexico to identify the people seen dropping the children. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Gordon Mosley, wishing you a pleasant good night and a happy Easter.